very happy to be sitting here today with Craig Ferguson. Craig's the author of a brand new book called American on Purpose.
That's right.
The Improbable Adventures of an Unlikely Patriot.
Yes.
Welcome to our little set here at Borders.
Thank you. It's very nice. It's actually very like a real bookstore here. And
That's
you're
right.
very like a guy that comes up and talks to me in a bookstore.
That's right.
In my dreams.
We go for the authentic. So you're also the host of The Late Late Show. You've done that for a lot of years now.
Yeah. I like to feel I'm America's #2 middle of the night guy.
That's not bad. It's
Fine.
highly aspirational.
It's fine.
You know, when you announced your book, you said, and this is from the press release that came out announcing it, that you hope that it will inspire other alcoholic punk rock drummers from Scotland to find their true place in U.S. late night television.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of smug, wise-ass thing I would say. Yeah.
You were in a punk rock band a long time
I was,
ago.
yeah. I was in a few of them. The thing was, if I was in a band, then your band, if I was in your band, if you had a band and I was in it, then your band would suck because I was in it.
Yeah.
If I'm in your band, the band is no good.
Yeah.
When I leave your band, it may improve.
But
if
the
I'm
names
in it,
were
no.
cool, though.
The names,
So
yeah.
the Bastards from Hell.
Bastards from Hell, yeah, they
you guys
were.
rocked out.
Well, the
Did you-
Bastards from Hell were really. They changed the name to the Dream Boys, which is a shame because the Dream Boys was also the name of an erotic dance troupe.
Yeah.
Which we weren't.
Did you have any idea where you were headed at that time?
No, I find myself, like many of the people I ran with then, a little surprised to be alive and having to fill my day.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going. I didn't think about that. It was a very kind of very odd kind of life, very weird. I'm glad I wasn't successful. I think it would have killed me.
Yeah. Well, you knew you wanted to be in entertainment somehow or another.
No, not really. What I really wanted to do was find a business which was had a very lax policy for drunkenness and tardiness, and show business is excellent for that. Also, I wanted to meet girls, and trying to meet girls in a shipyard or in a factory. Not that there aren't lovely women that work in shipyards and factories, but there aren't that many, or there weren't then. Now, of course, shipyards and factories are the new places to go and meet girls.
Right, it's in vogue. But you know, we joke about the drinking and the drugs and stuff, but you write about it pretty seriously and honestly in your book. I think you've gained a reputation in your time on the show, at least with your fans, of being, if nothing, honest. And I think you've shown that in your opening dialogues and your monologues in the show. But you did have a big problem, obviously, with drinking and with drugs.
I would say alcoholism is a fair-sized problem with drinking and drugs. I don't know that. I'm a little uncomfortable with the idea in any way of being a spokesperson for that because I'm not. You're right when you say that I'm honest. I am honest, but there are areas of my life that I can't remember that well. So it's my interpretation of what happened and somebody else's interpretation of what happened may differ. But I'm as honest as I can be in the book. As far as the difficulties of alcoholism, I was an alcoholic because the difference for me, alcohol and drugs, is that a drug addict, if I was in a bar and someone said, would you like to buy some cocaine or would you like to take some cocaine? I'd say, why certainly, I'd enjoy some cocaine. Let's go right ahead and get taking some. However, if they said, would you like to leave the bar and go to this drug dealer's house and get some cocaine, I'd be like, why? If I'm in the bar is open. If you want to sell me cocaine, come to the bar.
It was a convenience.
It was, I wouldn't leave a perfectly good licensed premises to go and get illegal drugs. If you want to sell me illegal drugs, Buster, you come to my bar.
The premise of the book, obviously, is your drive to become a citizen. In 2008, you crossed over and were sworn in as an American citizen. What was that like?
The idea of becoming a citizen for me was in a way, it was kind of like a philosophical decision. It was this is what I am. This is what I believe myself to be. I believe myself to be an American. Does that mean that I agree with every other American? Of course not. Absolutely not. But I believe myself to be in spirit an American. I believe in the Constitution of this country, and I believe in the tenets and the and the aspirations of this country. And I always during the Bush-Cheney years, it was very difficult to sell American patriotism to anyone who wasn't on the right wing, which, you know,
Right.
that became odd to me. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why there had to be a polemic attached to patriotism. And so I started to really think about it. That's really what drove me to it, start thinking about it. Because America, to me, when I was a kid, and I talk about it in the book, was really about, the first picture I had of America was American astronauts. It was NASA guys, you know, watching them landed on the moon. I think the first American I ever saw was Neil Armstrong, you know. So it was an aspiration for me to be an American, basically.
Was it something you had to be careful about, being someone who was on television, someone who was...
Yeah, absolutely. You got to be careful. I mean, if you go to a country and you're not a citizen of that country and you start complaining about the government, I think that's like going into somebody's house and complaining about their drapes. I mean, it's like, it's none of your damn business. Unless you're involved, you're involved. So I think, and America is a big, powerful country. I wanted to be part of the debate, but I didn't want the debate to get ahead of everything else. The fact, for me, you know, it's very important that we have debate. That's the most American of all our traditions, is the right to disagree. That's the essential nature of this country, is the right to disagree with those in power.
Right.
That's the single most important thing, I believe, in our Constitution. The right to voice dissent. And I always believed, especially when I was talking to people from Europe who were very happy to badmouth America when what they meant was they didn't agree with the policies of George Bush and Dick Cheney, was to say to them, your voice of dissent is unwelcome as far as I'm concerned in this argument. The most effective voice of dissent, and as it turned out, it was the most effective voice of dissent, is within the American public. And it always has been in America, and that's what I like about this country. One of the many things I like about this country is that we are our most effective voice of dissent.
Have you
And
noticed,
it'll happen again, it'll go the other way too.
have you noticed a difference since becoming a citizen and just how you are on television, or is there anything that's changed?
I've noticed I'm taller. I'm taller
More
now that I've
handsome,
become an American. My teeth seem to have straightened out a bit, and I've started using deodorant.
Yeah, that's nice. It's
So
freedom.
everybody
Freedom in
seems
its
very
purest
happy
form.
about that.
Let's talk about the Late Late Show for a minute. Your refreshing monologues. I think you went in with scripted monologues at the beginning, but you sort of branched off and started doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And you do it differently than others. I mean, you're right there. I feel like you're exploding out of the screen. You're like closer than the other guys. And
Yeah, it's because my studio's smaller. And also, I think when I watch the other late night shows and then I do my show, I feel like, you know what I feel like? Excuse me, I'm drinking Diet Coke and I haven't had any breakfast, and I sound a little bit like the Krakatoa volcano in the late 19th century. But then what I feel like when I see the other late night shows is that it's kind of like I'm a kid that goes fishing and all the other kids have got expensive equipment and I've got a stick and a string and a hook, and occasionally I catch a fish and everybody goes, whoa. And that's really what it is with me, that's all. Occasionally I catch a fish with substandard equipment.
You know, when you started off in fiction, you weren't telling your own story, but something obviously made you want to put down on paper your own story. What was it that made you want to tell the story of Craig Ferguson?
I think it was about time. It was about time, and because I think I had become a citizen and made a choice to become an American citizen, it was a very profound moment in my life. It was a punctuation mark, amongst other things, that afforded me a time of reflection. I mean, it's a hell of a thing to change your nationality, you know. Now, I didn't change my ethnicity, but I changed my nationality, and that's a hell of a thing to do. You examine yourself if you do that, and in examining yourself, you might as well write it down and make a buck.
How does it change your thinking about Scotland? You grew up in Glasgow, and
It hasn't changed my thinking about Scotland at all. My thinking about Scotland is that I love it. I'm from there. I'm proud to be from there. I'm proud to be Scottish. But I reside and owe my allegiance to the United States, and I am an American. I think that's the thing. I mean, we're part of America's a different idea from any other country.
Yeah.
This is an idea. This is a dream. You know, the American dream. That's what it is.
So you're settling in now, this late show, and you're writing the
Yeah.
books, and you're touring around the book. Clearly, the thought of what critics might say hasn't really influenced the way
fuck 'em.
your career.
You know,
has
I
been.
mean, really, you, at what point do you start living your life for other people? I mean,
Right.
really, you know.
But you live in Hollywood,
here's what's going to
though.
happen.
It's hard to
Fuck
do.
Hollywood. You know, here's what the truth of the situation is. You start living your life for other people, you start hating yourself. Fucking full stop. That's what happens with me. I start, living because I think a critic is going to like what I write. Most of these people I wouldn't trust with a fork. Why would I trust them with my, an opinion?
Right.
So it doesn't scare me to be, if someone writes something, sarcastic about me in a book review. I've had very big men attack me with sharp instruments. You attack me with sarcasm, it leaves me almost unmoved, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's actually good for me,
Yeah.
And so I think if you start trying to think what's going to make money or what's going to work, you end up doing what I did at the start of the Late Show. Is I start doing a pale imitation of what Johnny Carson created years and years ago, or Jack Parr created years and years ago, and that's not who I am, and it's not what time it is.
Yeah.
So I think what I try and do is I try and figure out who I am, and then check what time it is, and then that's what art is.
Well, I think with that exclamation point, I want to thank you. Welcome to America.
Thank you.
The book is American on Purpose. It's Craig Ferguson. Thanks very much for being with Borders today.
Thank you.
And good luck on the book tour. Love that.
Thanks very much. Good luck
Great
meeting
you.
people in bookstores.
Absolutely. I'll be careful.